Welcome to Leading Experts. I'm your host, Patty Grabeau. Do you want to buy or sell a home or investment property, but have been unable to do so using the traditional methods? Today, you'll be wowed by the ingenuity of our guest concerning the non-traditional, creative options available when we come back on Leading Experts.
Welcome to this edition of Leading Experts. Leading Experts is informative and exciting. Leading Experts interviews authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs in all areas of business, so you become a much more informed consumer.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Patty Grabeau. Joining us today is real estate investor Lee Miller, president and founder of WinWin Innovations. Lee graduated from Brigham Young University, Idaho, with a degree in marketing. Shortly thereafter, at the age of 26, he purchased his first home in San Diego. After turning the property into a bachelor pad and renting out the rooms to 8 guys who paid all of his bills, he decided to pursue real estate as a career. For the past 9 years, Lee, as he has said, has played the game and has transacted millions of dollars worth of deals. Many of these properties that he bought or sold did not involve banks and were made outside the traditional scope of real estate transactions. Quite impressive. Oh my goodness, that's really something. Let's talk about the name of your business, WinWin Innovations. How did you come up with that?
Well, it's very simple. When I do real estate, I want to make sure that everyone wins. There's opportunities to help everyone, and WinWin Innovations, our mission is to make sure that every single transaction we do is a benefit or a win to every single party involved in that transaction. If I'm going to do a deal that one person might not benefit, I won't do the deal because that's not a win for everybody.
So total satisfaction across the board.
That is correct.
What makes you unique?
Well, WinWin Innovations, our goal is to be problem solvers. Basically, we find a problem, find a need, and then connect the person with the solution or the answer, connect them with the company to help them solve their needs creatively.
What do you want people to know about you and your group?
Well, we are creative problem solvers, basically, meaning if someone had tried to do real estate using the traditional methods and they failed, whether it was to buy or to sell the home using the traditional method, they can come to WinWin Innovations for a creative, outside-the-box way to handle the situation that they were working on.
Oh, that's really, really interesting. But are you a licensed real estate agent?
I'm not. I'm not a real estate agent. I am a real estate investor.
Okay, and what's the difference between a real estate agent and an investor?
Well, first of all, a real estate agent can certainly be an investor, or vice versa, an investor can be a real estate agent. The difference is really real estate agents primarily focus on traditional methods of buying and selling houses, meaning the person has to go through the bank and they have to either go through the bank to get a new mortgage or they come in with all cash to pay for the deal. As a real estate investor, we've got access to all the creative sources that don't involve banks, that don't involve the traditional methods. So if a person's been turned down by the bank either to buy or they just can't sell their house through the real estate agent, then as an investor I can come in and offer new solutions. And you know, I use real estate agents when I want to buy or sell property through traditional methods. But on the flip side, many of the properties that I've bought were actually listed with real estate agents and they were unable to sell them traditionally, and that's why I was able to buy them creatively.
Well, I'll tell you, in this market, I think that's a great tool for people. It really sounds very intriguing. And creative real estate, can you give us some examples of how you use creative real estate?
Sure, absolutely. Creative real estate can really be anything that is worked out between the buyer and the seller that is outside the traditional or normal scope. Some examples, maybe get a property under contract and then assign the contract to someone else, or buy a property using the seller's existing financing, leaving that in place. Doing what's called a rent-to-own, or using owner financing. These are all just some examples of creative financing that allow someone to either sell or buy a house even without going through the banks.
What is rent-to-own?
Rent-to-own is basically a program that allows a person to start off as a renter. They take on the benefits as if they're owning it. They are in charge of fixing it up, doing the repairs, maintaining the property. while they're in the position of cleaning up their credit. So basically they're acting like an owner while they're renting, and they've got a certain time frame in which they can clean up their credit and come in with a new loan down the road.
That's a wonderful option.
Yeah, absolutely.
That really is a wonderful, warm, fuzzy option for people today. And who is your client?
My client would be anyone that is interested in buying or selling real estate and open to creativity or thinking outside the box to find a solution that, you know, maybe is outside of the norm.
Okay, and then there are foreclosures everywhere right now. I mean, how do you help people in the foreclosure situation with your creative marketing?
You know, it's a very good thing. We take each case on a case-by-case basis and take more of a consulting approach. If the homeowner is able to maintain the monthly payments, but they're not able to make up the amount that's in arrears, then let's say a homeowner's $20,000 behind on their payments. If they're in a position of making the payments, I can show them a way that they could earn $20,000 worth of income
Really?
in a relatively short time so they could stop the foreclosure and save their house. If that option doesn't work and all of the other options don't pan out, then I could actually come in and buy their house and close relatively quickly. In fact, I bought one house that the auction was a week away, and I was able to come in and buy the house from the homeowner and save his credit from getting the foreclosure on the record.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful you were able to do that. And that saves people's self-esteem and, like you said, their credit record. It's a phenomenal option.
Yeah, everything, you know, your credit score can always, bouncing back from the lates, that's easy. But the foreclosure on a person's record, that can actually scar their record for 10 years or longer. And so, you know, as a last case resort, if the person's going to lose their house, at least they can save their dignity and be able to buy a house, down the road.
That's a real good example of your name, WinWin Innovation.
Absolutely.
It really is, bringing it all together. And what about houses that are upside down, those with no equity or need major repairs? How can you work with them?
Well, as a real estate investor, we do everything creatively, and there's actually solutions for every single one of those options for the investor that knows what they're doing. So there really isn't a house that we can't buy. You know, if the bank says there's no possible way I'll lend on that house, there's no possible way that you can get the money to fix it up or it's upside down. As an investor, I know the creative ways to go around the banks and save the homeowner or offer what they need.
Where did you learn all this? Where did you learn all this creativity?
Well, after I had my tenants after my roommates were paying for all my bills, I knew I wanted to get into this, and over the years I've actually spent over $50,000 on my real estate education, several hundred hours worth of seminars, training, audio, video, all of that sort of thing, and just been learning as time goes on.
You have a free report to share with our viewers. Can you please tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The free report is called The Shocking Truth That the Real Estate Gurus Don't Want You to Know, which basically, as I said, I spent over $50,000 on my education. I know of people who've spent over $100,000 on their real estate education before they bought a single property.
And what's the website?
The website is realestatewin.com.
We'll be back and talk about that in a minute. Stay tuned. We'll have more with Lee Miller, President and Founder of WinWin Innovations, when we come back.